All right. Hey. How'd I used to do it? Hey, Mark in the minivan. How are ya? Got to get back in the groove of these things. It's been a while since we have done a Mark in the minivan episode, which I think the guy who coined the name of this was Rick on Twitter. Right, Rick? I think you came up with Mark in the minivan. Anyways, where has the time gone? I'm back. We got a new minivan during COVID. I got another dog. There's 2 dogs now. I've been working some pretty busy jobs. The Talking Metal podcast has continued. And let's get Mark in the minivan going again. Why not, right? It's only so many years in a lifespan. I watched last night with Emily, my wife, we watched the great documentary. Now, I've seen some really good reviews of it and some not so great reviews of it. It's really good. And I want to get the official name right. It's the Rick James documentary, but it is Bitchin, The Sounds and Fury of Rick James. It is on Showtime, at least that's where we watched it. And I thought it was really, really well done. The beginning caught me a little off guard. Like it's his daughter driving up to a warehouse or some of his old stuff, and I was like, what is this? Is this is being kept? So I thought initially the first 5 minutes were awkward, but now I just feel like it was kind of a unique way to open the documentary because it kind of makes sense, and she's definitely a part of the story. And yeah, great stuff. Our friend Mark Weiss, very surprised to actually see him in the documentary. I got to text him later and tell him he was great in it. Yeah, so great stuff. Mark Weiss is a photographer who does a lot of heavy metal guys, but he also did Rick James, which makes sense if you watch the documentary, because Rick was funk, but he respected hard rock music, I think especially the fashions and punk rock music. So definitely a unique guy. If I were going to have any criticisms, I wish Neil Young would have been in the documentary. And if you're wondering, why Neil Young? Why would he be in a Rick James documentary? Well, watch the documentary. You'll find out. A lot of us have already known that Rick James and Neil Young had a band together, but I learned more about this band than ever before. There is old footage, I know, in the VH1 library where I used to work, of Neil talking about Rick James and his time with Rick James. It's a shame they couldn't have gotten access to that footage. But a great watch, so much fun. I was a casual fan of Rick James back in the day, but his, not only his songs, but the songs he produced, which in a lot of ways were his songs, like that song "Our House," the Mary Jane Girls, right, and the Eddie Murphy stuff that he did, the musical stuff with Eddie Murphy. I think he was a tremendous talent. I think the documentary is a very fair watch that also gets very much into his dark side, and also clearly states that a lot of the stuff that went on back then, it's a different time, different times we live in now, for better or worse. And I think Rick James could have only happened at that point in time. Great watch. Please watch it. Love the stuff about him and Prince. Highly recommended for any music lover. The Rick James documentary on Showtime.